Good morning, happy Saturday. Welcome to Stamp and Create with Beth. I'm Beth Roy, an Independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. So if you pop in, say good morning. If you're new to hanging out, feel free to let us know where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay on YouTube, feel free to say hi and let me know where you're watching from. Good morning, Joan. Today is Saturday, November 29th, 2025. And here in the US, we just celebrated Thanksgiving this past week. So I've been doing a lot of family time. And I had a fun crafting day yesterday with some ladies, and we made Christmas cards. So today I have a few options. I was trying to think of what to do, and I decided that I would show you this really pretty modern Christmas paper, but using it in a different way. So let me grab that paper pack. It's a very pretty black and white and gold design. Good morning, Christy. Good morning, Deb. And I'm not sure how we're going to layer it up. So here's some cards that I did. We did this card yesterday in my class. And this one I like to use colors that I consider to be regal. And I usually use them for religious cards, or I like to do like dark purples or a navy blue with like a silver or a gray, like a smoky slate. So let me pull out this paper. So here's this paper pack. One side has just like some fun patterns. Let me see if I can get all of them. I've been chopping into it quite a bit. So there's a pattern. So you can see that there's a lot of black and white. And is this it? Actually, I think that one side has foiling and one side does not. So here are the pieces. So this side is just, one piece has trees. I love this. And one has words, and then there's just some kind of neutral patterns, if you will. So I love this dot, and I love this little crosshatch or plaid piece, or whatever you want to pattern you want to call that. And so on the other side of this, let me flip it here. This has the black and white design with some gold foiling. So it's a very pretty paper pack, but I like to use some of these, like the dot side and things in a little bit different way. So whenever I have some paper that has black and white designs, I love altering it and adding color. And the way I do that is with my Stampin' Blends. So I created these. Now this greeting is retired, and these snowmen are retired, but they're in some of my, my favorite pile. And I love doing snowman cards. Now this one uses the Common Bright stamp set from the kit, and this is Scenic Adventure and Woodland Scenery. So you can pair this style of card with whatever stamps you have. So today we're going to change it up a bit. Our card is not going to look like this, but we are going to use this plaid pattern, and we're going to alter it. So you guys ready to see? I have a bunch of ideas in my head, and we're just going to see where it goes. I agree, Joan. That designer series paper is very pretty, and I love that you can really customize it and do any colors you want because it's black and white with some gold. So you can really change it up and use the color schemes you like. So when I think of regal or, you know, very sophisticated cards, I think of dark blues and dark purple. So I've dug out some, I have Secret Sea, Blackberry Bliss, and I actually grabbed some Mossy Meadow just in case we want to go with a green color. So I do have, I have some little bits here. I'm not sure what we want to use. I have this piece that we're going to alter, and we're going to come up with some colors. And then I just have, I have some different things because honestly, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I grabbed out some of my blues that I like to use, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, and here's the Secret Sea in with those. So you can see it's quite a different tone. I just love this really dark blue. And then I embossed some. This is the two-toned, so it does crack a little bit. I wasn't sure this was with the direction I wanted to go, so we just have a stack of things here. And then I got a different idea. So we're going to see how we want to go, okay? Good morning, Dad. Thanks for joining us. So my original idea for this morning was that I would alter this and then do this big flower arrangement from the Christmas Greenery stamp set and die cut it and put it on top. I wasn't really sure if I liked that idea, so then I thought, well, we used this stamp set last week, and I love the snowflakes that you can build that look like pine, snowflakes made out of pine. And then I was looking at some of my cards, and I thought, I saw this, I had this for something, and I thought, well, this could be pretty too, to have a tree. We could either do white, and I'll show you how I would modify that, or this is Secret Sea, or Mossy Meadow, and then we could use these dies right here. Hopefully you can see it. We could use these dies, even though they're berry dies, we could use them to make baubles for my tree and then put Merry Christmas across it. So I don't know if you're done with Christmas cards. I am not. So I'm still making Christmas things. And so this will be a Christmas card. So what do you think? Good morning, Linda. No worries. No worries. It's a lazy Saturday morning, right? So what do you think? Do you like layering the flower? Oops. And we would die cut it. Do you think you would like a snowflake or the trees? So we can decide after we choose colors and we color this. There's different ways you can add color. Let me bring in my other cards. So I changed it up. On this one, I did a light and a dark, and I did some skinny lines added in. This one, I did a brighter color with a dark, and then I added in just a few lines. And this one, I really changed it up a little bit. I added in thick and thin lines in with my coloring. So this was Blackberry Bliss and Cloud Cover. This was Secret Sea and Pretty in Pink with Cloud Cover. And this was Cherry Cobbler with Secret Sea and Cloud Cover. So they all have Cloud Cover and Secret Sea on my original cards. And then another color. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts, and let's start building this card. So after we do the plaid, we may decide we like, what we like on top of it, and that's fine. So these are two-step stamps, so I'm not going to be using blends on everything, but I'm going to use blends to alter this designer series paper. And I have a white piece for the inside. If I use the white base, we don't need that inside piece. You love the trees or the snowflakes. Oh, thanks, Linda. I love the snowman stamps. I use those every year. So I bought them whenever they came out, and I've used them tons. So first, let's choose colors. So do we want to go with Secret C as one of our colors, or Blackberry Bliss? And we're going to choose other colors after we pick this one, okay? Or, now, when I think like those regal winter tones, I don't usually pick a green, but I really love Mossy Meadow, and I think you can add in a blue or a purple with it, so I like Mossy Meadow. Or we can go with whatever color scheme we want here and have a white base. Okay, so first we need to choose if we want blue, purple, or green as one of our main focal colors. And then we'll pick some colors to go with it. Linda, you like light and bright. Yep, I do too. But, you know, I'm going to challenge you to maybe throw in a dark. So I did, I think this is bright. Amongst my friends, I think this is becoming the favorite. This is pretty in pink with this color. Now I used, this was a kit, so this kit that I provided for my class, the only color I chose was Cloud Cover. And then you mixed whatever colors you wanted with it. So, you know, you can pick this color and then pick a lighter pop of color. Even a pool party or something would look good. So let's vote on a focal color. And, you know, we may change the base up. It kind of depends on where we go after we alter our piece of designer series paper. So do we want, let's see, okay, I see a vote for purple, I see a vote for Secret C. So is it easier if I just give you numbers? So let's do 1 green, which is Mossy Meadow, 2 is the purple, and 3 is the Secret C. And then we're going to choose some colors to go with it. And I may steer you with a few choices, but you can change it to whatever you have. So it doesn't have to be exactly. It looks like, good morning, Jenny. It looks like we have a couple Secret C's and the purple might be winning. Jenny, we're picking what base we want, what focal color. So we have 1 is Mossy Meadow, 2 is Blackberry Bliss, and 3 is Secret C. So if you said purple or Secret C, I did see what you said. I just wanted to make it easier just in case. You know, sometimes people I don't want to type in the morning, so. Trying to make the poll easier, but I think it looks like Blackberry Bliss has won out. So we're going to remove these 2 colors, which I love Blackberry Bliss at Christmas time. I noticed I have not been using some colors as much as I used to. But I love this. To me, this Blackberry Bliss is such a rich color. I love it. I've paired it with shiny snowflakes. It reminds me, I was going to I have a new Wink of Stella, and I was going to add some shimmer and shine. And I'm going to figure out where I put it. Anyways, side thought, squirrel. Okay, so now we're going to pair some colors with our Blackberry Bliss. And typically when I do kind of that regal color scheme, I honestly don't think of plaid, but I think we're going to transform this. So we have this, it's going to layer like that. And like I said, when we get done, if we've colored this a lot and we feel like the Blackberry Bliss base is too dark, we'll bring in that white. Okay, so we can switch out the base. But this helps give me a visual of where I am at and where I want to go. So, a color that I love pairing with Blackberry Bliss is Fresh Freesia. And I just like that tone with Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so remember, I'm picking blends. And the blends colors look a little different than our dyed paper. So for this instance, this is Blackberry Bliss blends, and you can see it is not as dark as that paper. Now, if you have the Stampin' Right markers, you could color this in with that, but remember, those retired, so I don't know what's still available in those markers, but they are going away. So I like to just focus on what I have. So I'm going to grab my Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to show you a little trick on how you can make it maybe a little darker if you want. Okay, and I do like to use grays and then add some sparkly. So let's think about some colors here. Good morning, Maggie. You can use, I want to keep it kind of simple. So on my other cards, I only used 3 colors. I limited it to 3 colors. So what pop of color would you like with Blackberry Bliss? I've got Fresh Freesia. Let me see if I can challenge you a little bit here. Trying to think here on the fly. Anybody have any suggestions? I do like to use the grays. So you would just have white, purple, and gray. So let me know what you like to pair with Blackberry Bliss. I've been thinking about this all morning, and so I have Fresh Freesia. I did grab Cloud Cover because I do love this kind of gray blue color. So I have Fresh Freesia. Pool Party, okay. Let's grab that out. So that's a brighter color. So, you know I like to test things. Let me grab a strip of paper here. So it will look a little different. This is a thin paper and it's brighter white than our cardstock. So let me show you what they look like. Remember, that is not really the same color as our cardstock, so it's going to be a little different there, but that's okay. So that's Blackberry Bliss. And then we have This is, like I said, this is one of my favorite combos right here. This is the Fresh Freesia. It's a nice pop of purpley pink. Love that. Then we have this one, which is a very different tone. This is Cloud Cover, but I do like it. I like this Cloud Cover color. And then we have Pool Party, which I do love. I love Pool Party with Blackberry Bliss. And then I do like to bring in my gray for something. So this is just Smoky Slate. And if I want to make this just a little bit darker, I'm going to put down. Now you don't have to add gray. You could add a different dark color. Just play with it. And then I'm going to go over top and kind of blend those two together. And look, you just got to be careful because it will spread, right? And when you're doing it on this, it will definitely spread. This is just a thin paper and it's foiled on the back. So just be mindful of that. Ooh, Joan says Mossy Meadows with the Blackberry Bliss. Good morning, Carol. Thank you. Ooh, yes, I bet you're getting lots of snow. We're going to get a tiny bit here in Ohio. Not a ton, I don't think, where I'm at. So, Linda, the designer series paper is called Modern Christmas. It is online. It's an online exclusive product. There is a suite with some stamps and things, but I just have the paper. Okay, so let's grab out, excuse me, Mossy Meadow. Okay, just so you can see some other things. So this is, Mossy Meadow is a very beautiful green. It's a deep, dark green. So this is our main color that we chose right here. And then this is what we compare with it. So you can see they're all very different. We have two bright colors. And then we have this color. We would use a little bit because we don't want it to compete with that. And then we have this gray blue, which I like with everything. So you got 7 inches of snow. Oh, wow. And I bet you're getting more today too, huh, Linda? It's probably really snowing where you're at. Yeah, I think we're just supposed to get a dusting. So just a little early snow for us here. Tiny bit. Okay, so let's choose some colors. So we're going to choose 2. Okay? So, where's my scissors? I'm getting all fancy here. Okay, we're going to choose 2 colors. So, we have Blackberry Bliss with Fresh Freesia, and then we could do either Cloud Cover or gray. Okay, there's one. And really, there's no wrong combo. You're going to pick, you know, what you love best together or what supplies you have. So if you don't have some of these colors, substitute in something else. So let's see. So there's one. We could do Blackberry Bliss, Mossy Meadow, and Pool Party. That would be a really different combo. I'm not sure how that would look. I'm going to be really honest. I'm just kind of throwing things out there to see. So, and if you don't like the bright, we could change it out again for that toned down cloud cover. So there's a color option. Or we could do 2 brights, and we would limit how much of those are showing, right? And that. So you could pair just about any of them, really any of these colors with Fresh Freesia. You could also do this. Okay. So let's vote for if we want Fresh Freesia or Pool Party with our Blackberry Bliss. And then we're going to choose one of these colors to go with it. Okay? Yes, Carol, a foot? Oh, I agree with Jenny. That's a stay inside and craft. Oh, yeah, I would definitely be staying in. Okay, so let's do a little voting, okay? So we're going to choose Blackberry Bliss as our main color. Do we want A, Fresh Freesia with it, or B, Pool Party? So we're going to choose these, and then we're going to choose this color, this third color, okay? So this is kind of the process. This is how I choose colors. Sometimes I just look at things and know exactly what I want to use. Like today I want to use Blackberry Bliss, or I want to pair everything with cloud cover and see how many combos it can come up with, or Secret Sea, or whatever I've chosen as my main color. So today we're going to go with Blackberry Bliss, and we need to know if we want A, Fresh Freesia, or B, Pool Party. Oh, good, Carol. I can't wait. So what image are you pairing with the plaid? That's what I'm curious about, Carol. I used my old snowman, and then I used some new sets with trees. I love nature scenes for my winter cards. So for my Christmas cards, really, I love just fun outdoor things. So I'm curious. And while we're deciding, I am opening my Wink of Stella. So when you get a new one, you have to take this apart and remove this black ring. So if you haven't had this before. And then when you screw this back on, this pierces that and opens the tube. So this keeps it safe from leaking and opening and leaking everywhere while it's getting to you. But we're going to add a little sparkle somehow to our card with the Wink of Stella. Okay, your votes are coming in. Fresh Freesia is winning right now. So if anyone else wants to be in on the choosing, get your A or B on there. Okay. Looks like my... Okay, I think Fresh Freesia won out. Okay, so we're going to move Pool Party to the side, but I do love these two colors together. They work very well. And for many years, that was my winter cards, I loved Blackberry Bliss with a pop-up Pool Party. Okay, so now, we have Blackberry Bliss and Fresh Freesia. I'm going to put my blends here. Now we're going to choose which neutral, and Mossy Meadow is considered a neutral. So we have combo 1 is Blackberry Bliss, Fresh Freesia, and Mossy Meadow. Combo 2 is Blackberry Bliss, Fresh Freesia, and Smoky Slate. Combo 3 is Blackberry Bliss, Fresh Freesia, and Cloud Cover. So there you have it. Get your votes in. 1, we're adding Mossy Meadow. 2, we're using a Smoky Slate. 3, Cloud Cover. So which one do you like with our first 2 colors? Ooh, let me know, Carol. I would love to know what you picked. I have, well, I've only been a demonstrator just under 10 years, but I've been making cards for a long time, so I have quite a bit of a collection of things. So, but my snowmen, I just love, love, love the snowmen sets, and I like coloring them, so. I see your votes coming in. So far, this one right here is winning out. And you may change your mind about things if you know exactly what stamp set and how you want to finish it. You may, like, you know, if we use this Christmas greenery, we're going to have some green stamps in here, and we're going to have some colors that we're filling in. So that may appeal more. Or if you know you want to do a tree with some decorations on it, or a snowflake that you're using a green on. So that can kind of steer these colors if you already know how you want to finish your card. We're going to have some choices today. Yes, Carol, blends are on the Black Friday sale. So if you need any color replacements, now is the time to buy them because they are 40% off. And if you're a demonstrator, they're even cheaper for you. So yeah, now is a great time to definitely look at what you might want to add to your collection or anything you need to replace. Okay, so toss those to the side. Here is our color combo. You guys ready to get busy? Now, I don't have any kind of rhyme or reason when I choose how I'm doing this to alter my paper. Okay, I just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of let it go and we see where it goes. So on all of these, I chose, now cloud cover is not super light, but I chose a dark with a lighter color for these 2 stripes that go either direction. And then I added in some extra stripes, and I gotta grab my, well, I do have a ruler. Okay, so I will show you how I did that. And we may do that with the green, so it's just kind of an accent color, okay? So when you're altering your paper, feel free to change it however you like, okay? So I'm going to start with the Blackberry Bliss, and I didn't really blend. So I like to bring out all my blends in the light and dark, so when you buy them, they come in a combo like this. I like to bring out both because I like that I can color with these and I get some variation. You don't always have to blend with them. And, you know, I'm not trying to make it like realism. I'm just making some patterns with colors. So I always start with the darkest one. And like I said, if you want to make it a little darker, you can brush this on. And let's see, I think I'm just gonna start adding color. So one of my stripes here is going to be darker. So I'm adding some of that dark smoky slate, and I'm gonna layer it. And you're gonna see how different it looks. So you could see on the other one, but it will look different. Now, again, your designer series paper is not going to hold as much because it's just thin. It's a lightweight paper. So I am just kind of brushing it on. Trying not to go. I'm trying to color in the lines, but if I color out of the lines, it's going to be fine. I'm not going to worry about it too much. And the blends have 2 tips. They have a brush tip and a nib. So I'm going to show you, right now I'm using the brush tip, and when you want to add lines in, the brush tip's going to add a wider line, and that nib can do a thinner line. But it's really how, you know, if you've learned to use your markers and if you have a heavy hand, with how it all kind of looks in the end. So I just like to enjoy the process. I try not to overthink it too much. So you can try other colors. If you don't have a gray, you could put another color, like maybe Pretty Peacock, or, you know, a darker, or even the Pretty Peacock, or even Lost Lagoon, and try to see how that looks for you and makes it darker. So kind of test it on your sheet like this and just have fun with it. So if I were to use, this is light Pretty Peacock, and then my Blackberry Bliss, you can see it darkens that just a little bit. So just have some fun, test it out, layer your colors and see what you like. Okay. Oh yeah, the Festive Friends, those are cute. So that has a snowman. Is it an elf and a Santa? So I don't have that set. So I'm not sure, but okay. I'm just gonna go this direction now with that Blackberry Bliss, and I'm adding in some of that gray first, and I'm using the dark smoky slate. So again, just test it out. If you don't want to layer your colors, you don't have to. Just use the blends. So the Black Friday sale with the blends, that goes until December 1st, which is Monday. And then on Monday, we have another sale starting. And that is for the prepaid subscriptions for the paper pumpkins. So that one's, to me, it's not super complicated, but it does have a little note with it, in that when you buy a subscription for the paper pumpkins, you can get 3, I think it's 3, 6, and 12. I think I have that right. And as soon as you buy that, it starts with the very first kit. So if you buy a prepaid paper pumpkin, it starts immediately for December. So you don't want to buy, if you're buying gifts for people, you don't want to buy multiple prepaid subscriptions for somebody, because we don't do the codes anymore. They start immediately. So you can still skip, but you can't skip the first month. So does that make sense? So you want to make sure that if you're buying gifts, paper pumpkin gifts, you just buy one prepaid per person, if you're doing that. So yeah, that's going to be the Cyber Monday. I think it runs December 1st through December 9th, and December 10th is the cutoff to get the December box, which it does look cute. I don't have my printout in front of me, but I will be posting about that. Okay, so back to my plaid here that I'm creating. I have colored in where my Blackberry Bliss is going to go, and now I want to add my fresh freesia. So you could add your green here, but I want to add my light pop of color. So I'm trying to decide if I want to add the dark Fresh Freesia or if I just want to use the light. It'll be much brighter. So that's kind of what I'm contemplating right now. So feel free to put some chatter in the comments and let me know what you think. I think I'm going to go with the light one. I can always go back and make it darker, but it's hard to lighten the color once you put it on. So I'm going to go with the light, and I color right over top. I want to wash out where it intersects with the Blackberry Bliss. I think my marker's dying. It is. That's okay. We're gonna push it to the end. So I'm just coloring right over top of where it intersects, and it will lighten that where it overlaps, and that's fine. I want that effect. If you don't, you can go back in and darken it back up. And I might have one of these over in my bucket. I've been trying to go through my bucket to see what blends I need before the sale ends. Oops. So I'm really saturating that part. This would also be a fun pattern for a birthday card. I just love this paper. I think it would be great. It's great for all occasions, not just the holidays. Would I use light old olive? Possibly. I do have Mossy Meadow out. So just know if you have old olive, maybe you don't have the Mossy Meadow, I would choose the color that you feel works best. So, you know, sometimes our eye just sees things differently. And you might not like the darker with it. Or I might use both. So there's lots of options on this paper. We could color this square. I'm going to leave it white though. I like the background white, but you could color this in, okay? And you could have left this line white. So there's lots of options. That I could have colored this part in Fresh Freesia and left this stripe white. So don't be afraid to play with this paper. There's so many ways you could color it. This is just how I chose this card. I'm just kind of adding a little more here and there. I do have a squeaky marker, and it's at least this end is going dry. So there is that. No, you're fine, Deb. That is a good thing to point out, though. So if you don't have Mossy Meadow, it is perfectly fine to use Old Olive. They're very similar in tone. Mossy Meadow is just a little bit darker. So let me grab those blends because they're very similar. So here's the Mossy Meadow. And then you'll notice this is Old Olive, and see how dark that is. It's actually darker than the light Mossy Meadow. So this color, this just has a little more yellow in it, but this is actually a little darker than that. So you could swap those out. And And honestly, even if you used a Mossy Meadow base, it would be fine with the Old Olive blends. They go very well. Yeah, sometimes they can, Carol, they can bleed. But I just try to be careful, and I figure I can, you know, unless it's a dark coming over into the light, you can use your blends and kind of color to push that back into where you wanted it to go. So you can see my nib tip is coloring a little better than my brush, but I don't mind sometimes when it just has that imperfect look. Kind of like that. So you can see this kind of washed out that square, and that's fine. So if you don't like that, you can go back over it. Okay, so there, I've used those. Now I want to add in some extra stripes. So this one I added in one, just going one direction. This one I added in a thin one, and then I added in a thicker line. And this was a thin line of Secret Sea and a thicker line of the light Blackberry Bliss. So that's why I say I'm not using it to blend. I'm using it to expand my color, my color offerings, because I only chose 3 colors. And then when you use blends, you have a light and a dark. So this one, I used the nib end to just add one line one direction and two the other direction. So you can change it up however you like. If you don't like the extra lines, like I said, you could color that square and make it all colored in. I am just going to add some lines. No worries, Linda. Good luck to your niece in her hockey game. Thank you, thank you. So I am just going to do some extra lines, and I'm thinking, let me show you over here on my scrap paper if you can if you can tell. I don't know if I can put it on one of those little ones. So I am thinking maybe we'll do a thick line that's light and a thin line that's dark. And we can do some green lines in there. So we're just using this to add a little more color and a little more detail. Right now, this looks like, you know, those lattice fences you have that you can put, you know, in your garden. And I don't want that. I want it to be more of a plaid. So I'm going to add extra lines, and I'm just using a ruler, and I'm not being exact. I'm not measuring anything. I'm just using this as a guide so that it goes, it's, you know, the same direction. You can freehand it. That is absolutely fine. I just find it easier for me to just do a quick line with my ruler and move on. Okay. So I'm going to do a thin line with the darkest color. And I'm going to do a thicker line with this color. You can overlap it here if you want it to come into your color, or you can just do it in the white. So we're just going to jump in and get started. I think I'm going to do the thin line closer to my dark color. Oops. So I just used my ruler, and it might not be perfect. That's okay. So I went one direction. Now I'm going to go this direction. Excuse me. So there's that one. And it doesn't look as dark as when I colored it, does it? But that's okay. Now I'm going to come in. This is the light mossy meadow. And I'm going to use that brush tip. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'll come over a little bit. And I'm going to push down. And sometimes I go a couple times so that I get that wider line. I'm going to move over a little bit. So you can see it's going to turn out really different depending on how you choose your colors and where you place them. So we could have done this line as the Blackberry Bliss, and we could have done the green up here. So any of those options would have been fine. What do you think? Should I do a thick line the other way, or will it be too busy? I can't decide. I'm going to let you guys decide. So I'm going to put my lid on my marker because I don't want it to dry out. The alcohol markers can dry out quickly if you have the lids off. So let's see. Let's say, yes, you want another line, or no, you don't. So if we would do a thick line this way, and it's really going to break up that white. So you can see it changes it quite a bit. Let me hold it up for you. So yes, we want to add a line, or no, it's good as is. And then we're going to decide how to finish off our layer. So I'd love to see how you would finish things, because I know my personal opinion is I would stop here. But if I'm, you know, there might be an instance where I do want it to be a little busier. All right, I think we're going to leave it as is. Okay, so I'm going to move all of this out of my way here, because now we are going to decide how we want to finish it, what we want to add on top. Let me move this for a second. I may need that. Okay, so I don't have these stamped, but we can stamp this and die cut it, okay, to layer. So I'm just going to pull the stamp out so you can see. I don't even think I have any of these stamped. So we would stamp and die cut, and then we're going to use the filler stamps. I'm not going to color with blends. We would fill it in, and it would layer on top of this, and then we'll have a little strip greeting. Okay. So that's the flowers. We have the stamp that we used last week, the Delicate Pines. And hopefully you can see that. We would stamp this in coordinating colors, and it could even be the Mossy Meadow or Old Olive. This does look more Old Olive probably, but and then we would die cut this, so we would have a little snowflake, and then we would have our greeting across it. Or we can do this option where I am only stamping my greeting. I would layer, and I wasn't sure, So we don't want the secret sea trees. I wasn't sure if I wanted this. This is Mossy Meadow two-toned, or I have a white set of trees. And we would do some coloring here. And then this has this little row of berries. And I thought I could die cut those in some different colors. I have some scraps over here. And we would add some baubles to our tree. And then our greeting strip would go across here like this. Okay? So a little bit different look. So what do you think? Let me know what finishing detail you like best. So we have our flower arrangement. That's the poinsettia and some other little Christmas flowers. And we would die cut it. We have our pine snowflake. Or we would have our little Christmas tree. And it would be like an outside decorated Christmas tree that we would layer on like this. And remember, we picked this color, but we don't have to use this base. So if we look at the base and we think, oh, this is really busy, I don't like it with this, then we have a white base that we'll use. Like this. So what are you leaning toward as our finishing layer? Ooh. Good morning, Vicki. Thanks for listening. Please drive safe. Thank you, Carol. Oh, I see. Trees, trees, and trees. So, we're going with the trees. Everybody likes the trees. Okay. So, if you have some of these other stamp sets, that's how you could finish it. Sorry, all my bits and pieces are stuck here. So let's put that to the side. And we're going to use these dies. And I'm not sure, I was just looking for something that does small circles. So if you have a die that does, you know, in your collection that has a really small circle, that's what I'm using. So this has a little tiny hole in it, but that's okay. We're going to use it and we're going to see how it fits. Okay, so I brought over, let me see. I have this. This is a Blackberry Bliss piece. And I don't have fresh, I can grab a Fresh Freesia piece. So we're going to use that little die. I already have this. And I have a white tree. And we can add color on top of it. The different colors. Or I have a Mossy Meadow tree. And this is two-tone, so it's the lighter on the other side. This is the dark, and we're going to put it like this. It's going to layer like that. So do you like the Mossy Meadow tree, or do you like the white one? And what we would do is we would add a little color back here, so this tree stands out, or you can add a little color onto your tree. You could even color it with your blend. So if you wanted a lighter green, than this one, then you could. So you would like a bigger arch. Ooh, so Joan says to use your white tree and use your blends to add color to it. And then do the purple ornaments. And we're going to make our ornaments shiny with our Wink of Stella. So they're going to stand out a little bit on your tree because we're going to add some shiny. I don't have a bigger arch cut, but I will say that is an option. I'm going to leave mine small. So if you like a bigger one, I do have one cut, but it's very big, like this. And I feel like my tree gets lost on it. So I don't have like maybe the next size up from this. If you want a little bit bigger, I didn't want my tree to get lost. So that's why I chose a smaller space like that. So please adjust to whatever your taste is. I'm trying to see if I do have, I don't think I have a smaller one. Oops, sorry, I know I'm crinkling over here. And of course, if you don't have the arches, you could always use a circle or a square or just something you cut with your trimmer. So the next size up, yes, I don't have any of those cut. I'm sorry. And I don't have that scrap over here. So, let's see. Let me see. Maybe I can fit one. Okay, so let me see. I grabbed my arches. Let me see if I have a scrap of white that will be big enough. So this was, first I gotta figure out what size I had. Okay, so this would be the next size up. And it's just a tad bigger. So let's bring in, I'm gonna bring in my little mini. We're gonna toss this one to the side. It's gonna go on my extra pile. And, you know, we could do some white baubles and color those as well. And I'm just, this die was intended for these things to be berries. So I'm just modifying them a little bit. We're just going to have a little fun. Okay. I have this white piece. Now this is a willow white piece, and this was basic white, which is a little thicker. I think it'll be okay. We'll try it. Go through. I usually move my grid paper because my little mini cut and emboss here can't grip the glass mat. It slides all over the place. Okay, so this one's a little bit bigger. We'll check that out in a minute. Now I'm going to use this die. And I'm just using some scrap paper that when I cut things down, I'm always left with these little strips. Sorry, trying not to slide everywhere. It's not working for me. There we go. So this little machine is fun to have on your desk to just kind of die cut little things as you're creating. So I should have 6. There we go. Now let's do some white ones that we could maybe add some fresh freesia to. So if you don't have a specific color of paper, but you have white, you can use your white paper and then just add color with your blends. up to you, but if you're like me and you have lots of little scraps, sometimes it's nice to use those up in this way. And you could leave some of them just white. Use my take your pick tool on that. Okay, let me get this out of the way. There it is. There it is. Okay, so what are you guys thinking so far? Okay. There we go. So we have some. We can leave some white and just add some shimmer to it. I'm trying to get this back in the packaging because I don't want to lose anything. Okay, so I have all these little pieces. I'm going to pick them up and put them over here. I can't pick them up with my fingers here. There's a use for your take your pick tool. Just to pick up all your little die cuts. Okay. So I have these, and I have the dark Blackberry Bliss. So just for reference here. Oh my goodness. I can get my fingers on them. We're going to just add some like this to our tree. You don't have to do both trees. You can. We could even leave some white. Okay, now Joan mentioned coloring this, so let's bring in and grab those blends. I'm gonna grab those Mossy Meadow blends. There's our ornaments, and I'm just gonna do some dark spots. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to go over it with the light. And I'm putting it down and going one direction. So again, if you don't have a lot of colors of paper, this is a great way to use the blends to modify your die cuts. Make them the colors that you need. I'm just going over those dark areas a little bit so they don't, look like hard lines. So there's our trace. Now, this is the next size up. So I'll let you guys vote on which size you like for our layer. And then we're going to add some of these baubles on. So what do you guys think so far? I don't know how many I'm going to use. I'm going to make a couple of these, the Fresh Freesia with the blends. I'm just using the light one. I'm going over it. And then we're going to add some sparkle to these. Thank you. So, let's see. Start kind of adding on what I think. But first, I want to well, actually, I'm going to add the sparkle after I glue them because I think that will be easier. So I'm using glue dots and we're going to put them on our tree. Now my tree is not glued down yet. So let's see, let's vote on the size of the arch really quick. So pulling this in so we can start building and seeing what we like. So here's our plaid. And we can do this. And then I had a strip somewhere. So we haven't stamped a greeting yet. This is just kind of a reference. It's not going to be that long. Okay, we'll cut it down. That is how our greeting is going to go. And we're going to start putting our baubles on. So do you like the bigger arch? Or do you like the smaller one? And I'm just doing a very small Merry Christmas. So it's the plaid that we created is going to be the main focal texture that you have on there. So what do you think? Do you like the bigger one or the smaller one? And then I'm going to start putting some of these on, our little baubles with glue dots. I can pick them up. So go ahead and put your thoughts in the comments. And I am going to start putting glue dots on these, maybe. I think I'm going to use liquid because the glue dots are just a little bit big. So I changed my mind. I'm going to use some liquid. You like the bigger? Oh, I think everybody has said bigger. Okay. I'll toss that over. So we're going to go ahead and start building it on this. I'm going to go ahead and add this on. And I want to add a little color. But I don't want to introduce a new color. So I'm going to come in with some light smoky slate. And I'm just doing some circles. And you don't have to do this. You can leave it as is if you want. And I usually take a little more time on this, but I'm just kind of hurrying along. So I'm doing some circles, and you could just go around the edge when you're done, and add some dots or something to add a little color. I am just going to do this, and then we're going to use a color lifter. And we're going to push a lot of that color through and lighten it so that it's just really light. This is just the lightest gray we have. So this is how I do it. And I'm going to use my color lifter. And I'm just going to go around that and push most of it through and really soften the color. So we're just adding a little texture. And if you don't like it like that, you do not have to do it this way. And the middle is going to get covered up, so I'm not super worried about that middle. It will show through a little bit because our trees have some holes in it. So if you use a different tree and it layers differently, then you might not see this as well. So the color lifter is part of the blends, and it's just the alcohol solution. There's no ink coloring in it. and it doesn't really lift the color. It kind of pushes it through and dilutes it. Okay, it just dilutes that color. And sometimes you need to put it on and let it sit. It kind of works its magic over a few seconds. So this just helps my trees have a little background. Okay, so I'm going to go back in with the color lifter here in a second and add and do another round because I want it to be really light. I just want a hint in there. Okay, let's start adding our little ornaments that we've created here. My glue is clogged, of course. Okay. You know what would be good right about now? My silicone mat. Let's do that. So I'm going to put a little glue here, and I'm just going to dip this and wipe some off. And then I'm going to start placing these everywhere. And I have some white ones, and I have some fresh freesia. Of course, it doesn't want to come off the end of my take your pick tool. So it does have a little hole in it. I'm not sure why the berries have a hole, but that's how it was designed. So we're just going to go with that. And I just twisted my thing up. This is a putty end for my take your pick tool. And if you get started and you want more, then you can always cut more. Oh my goodness. Stick down. There we go. And you can see this lightning. So if you're looking for gifts for your crafter friends, this take your pick tool is awesome, and this silicone mat. And they're both great little gifts that don't break the bank. You can spoil your friends a little bit. So the silicone mat is basically for messy gluing projects like this. And it works really well because when the glue dries, it just peels off. I have one more here, and I'm gonna stick it over here. Well, no. Where do I want it? I don't know. I feel like it needs to be in there, but I don't know where I like it. Maybe maybe more is less. We'll leave it as is. I'm not gonna put that one on. That's okay. Fun to spend the morning. Aw, thank you, Carol. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Joan. So I have this, okay, and it's going to layer. And remember, I'm going to come back in with another round here with my color lifter. I like the texture that this makes. So that's why I said sometimes I really take my time and I like to do the edge and, you know, make it look nice and even. Or I like it to look random, but I also like it to be kind of a tighter circle. But this works really well, and it kind of just has an effect that I like. So again, you can skip this part. But I'm just going around that edge and adding more solution on so that it will push through and lighten. So if you turn this over, make sure you have something protective. You can see where all that color is going. So I have something underneath so it has somewhere to go. You don't want it to go on your table. And trust me, my son has been learning how to use alcohol markers or permanent markers, and we now have a graffitied table. So you do not want that. Okay, so here is this, like that. It's going to go on like that, and you can see that gray is really lightening up, but it does give a little something to it. Okay, now we're going to use our Wink of Stella. So I'm just shaking this a little bit. When you get it going, you just squeeze until it starts coming down into the tube. And then it'll come out into the brush. So this is just a glitter brush. Oh, I got a lot. And it's just going to add a little bit of sparkle to our ornaments. So this is why it was easier to glue them down and then add the sparkly, because these are little tiny circles. Oh, did I miss one? So there is our sparkly ornaments. Ooh, yes, what Joan said. So if you're watching on the YouTube replay, you won't see what Joan said. She said you could use a blending brush and a color to add really, and your ink pad to add really soft color to that. So if you don't like the blends, you could do that. Okay, so again, this is going to dry, and this glue will just peel off. See, it's already cleaning up. And that's how your mat cleans up. I have several of these in my craft room floating around. Okay, we're going to pull this out. And we're going to start building our card and finishing it off. So, here's our layer. Now, we don't have to go with this. I also have a plain Blackberry Bliss here. So if we wanted to add a border, we could with the white. Okay. So you can still do that. I love the two-tone because it's a lighter weight. So I really like it for layers and things. So here's our card that we're building. Oops. Got our sparkly ornaments. And now we have to stamp our greeting. So, I brought in a few things. So, I got the November paper pumpkin, and it has a really pretty Merry Christmas in there that I like. It's a good size. So if you get paper pumpkins, these are great. So you can kind of see that Merry Christmas. It's small enough that fits there. I have peace, love, and joy. I think that would work. That's a longer saying. And then I have this gift of joy. And I like, I cut my Happy Christmas apart, so I like this Merry Christmas. It's very small, and it works really well with the space. Joan, you like the layer? I do too. So it kind of depends. If you don't have a lot of paper to layer, you can always use the colored background like that. You just don't have any white to break it up. So that's why I liked leaving the white on the background. So what do you guys think? Do you want to do Merry Christmas or peace, love, and joy? And then we're going to finish this card off. So we can do one of the Merry Christmases. And I also, if you have the Calm and Bright kit, it was part of the kit collection, it was sold out, then that also has a very pretty Merry Christmas in it. So just, grab your favorites. Okay, I see a vote for peace, love, and joy. And remember, this is a long greeting like this. Which I like. Now I am going to stamp the greeting in Blackberry Bliss. So let me grab that, and I'm actually going to stamp some of these because, I like to see it. I like to see what they look like. Let me grab my ink. Grab some strips here, and we're just going to test it out. That's what we do, right? Pull this back down here. So I'm curious, raise your hand in the comments if you use Blackberry Bliss for your holiday cards. There's that one. So I'm going to stamp all three. You guys keep letting me know in the comments. I need to clean that probably better, but we're going to move on. Oops. Christmas. Joan, you don't have Blackberry Bliss ink. That's okay. I think if you don't use a lot of purples, I could see that. What's funny is I don't really use a lot of purples, but I love Blackberry Bliss. And Blackberry Bliss, once upon a time, was an in color. And when Stampin' Up! Did their revamp on our colors, our core colors, they brought it back. And I was very, very happy about that. Oops. You can see by the staining of my stamps that I love dark colors. Very much. All of mine become stained. Okay. Now, I'm going to check and see what you guys have been saying. And I want to see if after I stamped them, if any of them changed your mind. Okay. All my things are put away so I don't lose anything. We're done stamping. So let's, oops. Okay, so there is, now I don't know what base we're going to use yet. So there's the Peace, Love, and Joy. It goes almost the full length of that front part, and I haven't glued everything down. I think a lot of people voted for this. Oh, Joan, I'm not going to laugh. Eggplant Envy. That's okay. Hey, you know, we did have some very beautiful colors before, you know, all the colors changed. And I have most all of the retired inks that I own. So I had Perfect Plum. So if anybody remembers that color, that was my favorite purple. And I loved Blackberry Bliss. And I think Perfect Plum is just maybe a shade lighter than the Blackberry Bliss. It's probably this color, because you notice this one didn't turn out as dark as the other ones. And then there's the other Merry Christmas. That's just, you know, a typeset font. And you have the script. Oh, Deb, you like the script, Merry Christmas? So I changed your mind, didn't I? So, you know, if you have some of those, I don't know that I ever had the eggplant color. I didn't start collecting a lot of inks until about 8 years ago. So I've been a demonstrator for almost 10. So I bought all my favorite colors, and then I slowly added more colors. So there, what do you think? So I see Deb likes the Merry Christmas script. So let's choose. I saw a lot of people want this one first. So I'm going to let you choose. Are you keeping your vote the same with this one, or do you want to change it to Merry Christmas? And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down so I can stop sliding all over the place. And I'm just getting it about the middle. So if you wanted to decorate both your trees, you could. And, okay, move these out of the way because we do have another decision to make, and it may change. I don't know if it will, but it may change your thoughts on which greeting you want. So we have the Blackberry Bliss base, like that. Or we have the white base with a Blackberry Bliss layer. So we bring in some of that white. What do you think? Excuse me. So lots of finishing choices. So let's choose our base and see if everybody voted for the, well, most people voted for this one, and see if it changes your mind. So do we want the Blackberry Bliss, or do we want the white with the Blackberry Bliss layer, and then this goes on like that? So let's do a Blackberry Bliss base. So it would look like this. Pull it back in. Or B, white base with a Blackberry Bliss layer. What do you think? So the Peace, Love, and Joy on white with the Blackberry Bliss layer. What do you think? Anyone have an opinion? So this layer staying like this. And I love layers, so I tend to choose the white with a layer, but you might like it with a little less. Okay, I think this one's winning out, so I'm going to put this to the side. All right, so I'm going to start adhering these things, and I'm actually going to pop this up with dimensionals like this. So let me add some glue to these so that all my pieces can stop moving around. Deb, it's okay to be wishy-washy. It's okay to change your mind. You know, when I'm making cards, I don't have a set way that I'm going to do something. And sometimes it just evolves. That's why I show you the choices, because, you know, you never know how you're going to like it. You know, when I first started out today, I wasn't going to add this layer behind, but sometimes, you know, after you've added color and you've changed things, you just like it better with a layer back there. So it's okay to explore, and it's okay for it to definitely end up how you didn't plan. Sometimes that's, you know, the fun part, is just sitting down and not really overthinking things. So I give you choices, but, you know, if I'm sitting here by myself, I don't, you know, overthink it. I just, okay, I like this one, so this is what I'm going with. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front. I got my base a little crooked, so let's try that again. There we go. Oh, Maggie, you're going to on stage. So fun. Oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to, and I really want to because it's my 10-year anniversary, and I heard you get to walk the stage when you have a big anniversary. But we'll see. We just have a lot going on, and it's hard for me to get away in March. I have a son getting married, and so I just don't think I'm going to be able to come. But I am so excited for you, because that will be fun. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my dimensionals if I can find them. Where did I lay them? Oh, here's some. You guys lose your stuff on your desk? So is anybody else, any of the other demonstrators on here already planning to go to on stage? I've gone well, it was like, I think it was like the mini version, because on stage was overseas. So they have, different ones. I would love to go to all of them. Wouldn't that be fun? It's just full of energy. So if you've never been to one and you're a demonstrator, you definitely want to try to make it to one. Yeah, it's right by you. That's awesome. Okay, so there's my piece. I'm just going to lay this here. What do you think? Everybody give me a thumbs up if this is our finished card with the peace, love, and joy. If you want to change it, I saw someone suggest this one. They like the Scripty Merry Christmas. Now that one's from the November 2025 Paper Pumpkin. So not everybody's going to have that one. Deb, you went last year. How fun. Was it? It was in North Carolina last year, right? So if you want the peace, love, and joy, thumbs up. If you want the Merry Christmas, give me a smiley face. And I'm going to save this one for another card, because that didn't get any votes. So that is how it will look. It's really just preference, or maybe the saying that you want. I have some retired stamps that have peace, love, and joy that's smaller, or peace and happiness, different things. So fill in what you like. Fill in whatever you like. And if you have an image stamp that you want on the inside, you can decorate the inside of your card. And if you do a layer, so I don't always layer in my, because I'm using thick basic white. But if you wanted to do, somewhere I had a white layer laying here. If you wanted to do a layer, you could do some blends, like maybe a little pattern in the corner or some lines down the side. You could add color that way. All right, I think the peace, love, and joy won out. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to add this on, because I want this to be all one layer that's popped up. So I'm going to add my dimensional on either end here, and then we'll adhere it on the bottom like that. So I don't need, this part doesn't need a dimensional. All right, we're going to finish up. So I'm curious, have you altered your black and white designer series paper before? Colored it? I mean, we've had loads of different designs in the past. We've had flowers. So if you've been watching me for a while, you've seen me do this with blends, or you could even use the watercolor pencils or watercolor it. You just want to do it with not a lot of water, because it will ruin your paper. But I'm curious if you have altered your paper like this before. And then, so I've got my little piece here, and I want it to stick on top, if I can get my glue working. So I just have a little bit of glue right there in the middle. And then I'm going to layer this right here. And I'm trying to get it in the center, about the center of my patterned paper there. So there is our peace, love, and joy. So I hope I've inspired you. If you've never altered your paper, I hope I've inspired you to get some of that out. If you're like me, I bought several packs of the papers that we had in the past that had florals or different things that were black and white. I love adding color to them and making layers. So I'm curious. I'd love to see if you try it. So this is our card today. I hope you enjoyed it. We altered lots of things, our die cuts. We add a little sparkle. Can you guys see the Wink of Stella on our ornaments? Now you could flick a Wink of Stella on there and add lots of sparkly. Who wants to do that? I'll show you how to do that. So let's finish it up. Do we want to add more sparkle? Get my Wink of Stella out here. I have a block that I use that's really messy. Oops. That I add. I just stuck my finger in it, but this is what I use when I flick things. Ah, thank you for the love. When I flick some things on my project. So I'm just squeezing this gently to get a little bit of that out because I want this to be really juicy. And watch out because it will go everywhere. Now, anything that you have colored, like if you use the ink pads, this may lighten it, just so you know. It is not, it's wet, and so it's going to reactivate anything that you've stamped, but it's really fun. So I'm going to tap this onto my lid. And we're going to add some sparkly. And I just keep reloading my brush. There's a big one. And tapping around. And I'll pull it up for you to see. So there we go. Now I'm just going to put the lid back on there. Thank you so much. And you do want to let it dry. So can you guys see all those sparkly? Now there's a big one, but can you see all those sparkly dots? So we made some sparkly plaid. Hopefully you can see it. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me today. And if you, this is Small Business Saturday. So I would love it if you need some blends, if you would shop with me. That helps keep me going, keep buying my supplies so that I can keep making videos. If you want to shop the sale, lots of things sold out really quick, like the paper and the trimmer. But the blends, for the most part, are still, I didn't see any blends that were sold out yet. That doesn't mean there won't be. But the sale goes to Monday, and you can shop at bethroy.stampinup.net. Thank you. Thank you for all the love on my card. So here's how I altered these, and these are just a little more fun, and this is like a stepped up, more of a regal looking color. So my inspiration this week was regal colors like navy or dark purples or silvers, even white. White is a very special color for us during the Christmas season. You know, it's if you know, the vestments in the church are white for Christmas. So, and I think for Advent we even have a pink, which I think in the past I used like Moody Mauve for. So very fun if you like to make things that way, or just use your favorite colors. So thank you all for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. Those of you who are getting tons of snow, stay safe, and happy crafting while you're snowed in. That's always a great way to pass the time. And I will see you all soon. So take care and happy crafting. See you soon. Bye.